Hello, thank you for joining me once again. I am continuing the reading of the Children of the Law of One in the Lost Teachings of Atlantis, and we are on chapter 16, page 247, for those that are reading along. I send you an invitation to subscribe, continue to support me as you listen along. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the returning subscribers. And everybody gets to push the like button. So let's get started, okay? Chapter 16, Visualization and Affirmation. Visualization and affirmations are two languages/tools you can use to communicate to your subconscious and alter your programming. As we have covered already, the subconscious mind, being much like a computer, needs to have a program to run. The programming there determines most of the mental and physical aspects of your being. The programming has had no conscious programmer. It has been programmed from birth by a flood of external influences, mostly negative. It is the programming of the biocomputer of yourself, a separate entity in a world full of separate entities who are all looking out for, number one, always seeking self-substantiation. During my time as a novice, I didn't really understand the seriousness of this. I asked Zayn, why is it so emphasized here and in the ancient teachings from Atlantis that we must think of our thoughts as programming, pay so much attention to them, and devote so much of our time to it? Oh, I forget. Sarcasm. It is simple, obvious. Just think that's what makes everything just thinking. Remember, action follows thought. The physical is the result of mental activities. The mind is the builder. Everything is the result of mere thoughts. Thus, it is vital to be able to communicate with and alter the programming that affects the mind. It all begins and ends there. That's why it's so important. And why is it taught that so much attention must be given to it? Remember, too, that for you to be in your proper place in the order of things and experience peace and oneness with the universe, the mind should be used as a tool for the manifestation of the universal forces in the physical plane. But you have free will and can choose to disregard the universal spirit. So what will you have your programming build in your life and the lives of others? If you realize the importance of this and decide to take control of your programming and thoughts, there are specific tools that can help you do so. Go read this now, and we will speak more of it afterwards. Make it real in your mind, and your mind will make it so. Relive actions in the realms of the mind, making it right to repeat it not. Always speak to your mind in a manner that shows it what you desire to achieve as the positive outcome. In speaking to your mind, never fight the negative with itself. In a direct struggle, good will lose to evil. Making strong in the good, and evil will be gone. Be ever vigilant in tending to your mind. Turn from your negative thoughts. Use your free will. Dwell only on positive thoughts, and success is assured. Use not powers of mind, but for developing virtue and to serve universal will. Affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements or directions you make to yourself in order to bring about changes in subconscious behavioral patterns to whatever you will them to be. Even before I had a chance to talk to Zayn after reading the text he told me to look up, I ran into Mishael, who just out of the blue had this to say to me, using an affirmation like a planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, and like a seed, it needs daily tending or it may die. For this reason, affirmations are tools that are used daily and frequently by those who wish to change. It would be best if you received your individual affirmations from your personal true teacher, for he would best know what you should be working on for your particular situation. If it is not possible for you to get your affirmations from your true teacher, because you have none or have not found one yet, you could ask God for guidance for affirmations during meditation. Or just think about negative/selfish traits you have that you know you need to change, or positive traits you would like to acquire. Later, I met with Zayn and asked him more about the subject. Father, what is the best way to use affirmations to change? For those who really desire to change as quickly as possible, a positive affirmation should be done instantly. Every time someone brings up to you an improvement you could make about yourself or points out a fault. This should be done instantly and sincerely with thought, right when it is brought up to you. But what if the person bringing something up to you is wrong? Until you are enlightened, if you look sincerely and hard enough at yourself, you will usually find some fault of your own at work in any argument, regardless of whether the origin of the argument was your fault, or what the argument was about, or whether or not the claimed issue was your fault. For instance, you might be in an argument in which someone else is totally wrong, but you became negative and stopped unselfishly loving. If you have realized enough that you finally understood that there is absolutely no reason good enough to stop loving unselfishly, then you should do an affirmation something like this, regardless of what the argument was about or what the outcome of it was. I am always unselfishly loving. But for it to help, you need to really feel that and mean that when you say it, not just mouth it, or it will not be an effective tool. Consider this also. Affirmations, to be effective, must always be stated as a positive result rather than trying to negate a negative. For instance, in the above example of an argument, the affirmation was not and should not be, I am not negative, I do not get angry, or such. It needs to be phrased in a positive way, something like, I am positive, humble, and unselfishly loving. Do you see the difference? In other words, you always say the good thing that you want to achieve and never use a double negative. Never even give energy to the negative trait that you wish to change, lest you actually feed the negative. Instead, you give energy to the positive trait that will supersede the negative. Always remember that the subconscious mind is something like a mindless robot. It only obeys and understands things literally. It doesn't figure things out, interpret, or know what you mean. Thus, affirmation should always be stated as an already accomplished fact, such as I am such and such, rather than stating them as unaccomplished possible future events like I will be such and such, or I am going to be such and such, or things like I would like to be more such and such. Wording affirmation in those ways either just won't make sense to the subconscious, or it tells the subconscious mind that this is some change that will take place in the future. And since the future is always in the future, it actually prevents the change from ever taking place. Because we are already in the now. For instance, let's say you were a robot who was holding a spoon and I wanted you to drop your spoon. I would need to figure out exactly what to say to you to make you drop your spoon. If I know that you only take my words literally, just as the subconscious mind does, then I need to phrase my words to you properly, or you won't understand that I want you to drop the spoon and you won't do it. So if I said to you, you will be dropping the spoon, that literally means to you that you will be dropping the spoon, not that you should drop it now. So what happens? You hold on to it, waiting for the time in the future when you will be dropping the spoon. But if I say drop the spoon, or you are dropping the spoon, you would drop it. See? Finally, you must really want to change. If you don't, affirmations will have little effect. What affirmation should I do, Father? He contemplated it for a day and then proceeded to give me my personal affirmations. Then he told me about general ones I should do. Some fundamental positive affirmations. Besides the personal affirmations you come up with, there are some general affirmations that the children have used since Atlantis and are still taught for everyone. These are the standard affirmations as were given to me, and which I give to you now. Morning affirmation. First, conceive of the highest power you can. Obviously, whatever you can grasp of the universal spirit at this time. There is always somewhat of a problem with that when you are still an unenlightened student, because you aren't really capable of conceiving God. Let me read that again. There is always somewhat of a problem with that when you are still an unenlightened student, because you aren't really capable of conceiving of God, because of the infinite nature of God, it is difficult for the novice to really conceive of God until he has become more familiar with it. Until then, a novice can know the universal spirit best through those beings who are one with and manifesting it. For instance, a universally conscious saint or teacher that you know. Why them? Because such a person reflects God in their being. It's in their thoughts, words, and actions. It is best if you use the image of a true teacher that you actually know. When you know such a person, you always know the universal spirit in a personal way, manifested before you in day-to-day life. That person can then become an ideal. The ideal then represents God via an enlightened being who is one with God. If you don't know someone personally, just think of the spiritually highest person you have ever learned of, such as Jesus in your case, but for others, it may be Buddha or Muhammad or whomever. Thus, you conceive of the highest power you can and indirectly conceive of God. When you are thinking of your ideal thought, make sure you are not thinking of the person's self, but rather the part of them that is the universal spirit. Now, while you are holding an ideal in mind, say to yourself silently or out loud in private and with full meaning, feeling it, not just repetition of words. Your will be done, God, whatever name for God you choose, not mine. In me and through me, show me what I must do this day, and let me be a channel of your blessings to all. As with all the affirmations you do, repeat it for 5 minutes. Evening affirmations. Begin with, my concentration is becoming perfect. That should be done for 2 weeks, then change to, my concentration is perfect. These are basically meant to help develop abilities of concentration that help you do other exercises, but they are good affirmations to do alone also. As in your case, a student may also have other evening affirmations specifically for them. Then you should do the dream affirmation below. Pre-sleep affirmation. This is often the most effective affirmation because you repeat it as you are going to sleep. This carries it deeper into the subconscious. For this reason, your highest priority affirmation should be done as you go to sleep. If you want to be able to remember your dreams in the morning, or you want to be conscious of your dreams while you are having them, use the following statement as the pre-sleep affirmation until the difficulty is resolved. I remember my dreams and I am conscious while dreaming. This should also be used for its ability to aid in integrating your threefold consciousness. Visualization. You said there were various tools for working with your thoughts and programming. So other than affirmations, what can I do? Visualization is another means of talking to or making nonverbal affirmations to the subconscious. It is an extremely powerful mental language, and it both programs the subconscious and directs the building blocks of our physical reality, thoughts. Authors note, the results of visualizations can be incredible. It can help heal the terminally ill. Scientific studies have shown that basketball players who visualize winning win more games even if they don't practice. And it has also been used as a powerful tool for magic, both black and white. For our purposes, it can help us attain positive changes in our programming and consciousness. Used with verbal affirmations and a strong desire to change, there is no stopping it. So, how do you do visualization, Father, other than what it sounds like? Visualization is not something exotic that requires training. It is very easy and natural to do. In fact, everyone does it all the time. Some do it more than others. Surely you have imagined what this or that would be like, or what would happen if this or that took place, etc. Have you ever imagined what you are going to have for dinner, or where you are going after work, or what you will do with so and so? Imagining something is putting it into an image, thus visualizing it. So you see, everyone is already using visualization daily, but using it unconsciously. This means that rather than everyone consciously choosing what to visualize every day, their subconscious mind, under the urging of their separate selves, are doing it behind their backs. And to what end? Sometimes the unconscious visualization is just something innocuous, like a person's imagining what restaurant they will go to for lunch today. But other times it can be very harmful, dwelling on things like selfish desires, jealousy, attachments, addictions, etc. And actually building these things, ensuring that we will keep them in our life or bring them into our life. To summarize, when we visualize an unconscious, selfish state of mind, nothing good will become of it. And often it is destructive. So all there really is to it is seeing something being done or already accomplished in our mind's eye. I'm going to go ahead and stop there simply because my voice is cracking, or, I'm going to stop. So I'm going to stop on page 251 at the part of complete visualization. Hasn't this been wonderful? I've been reading The Children of the Law of One and the Lost Teachings of Atlantis, and we are on chapter 16, and that was part 1, and then I will finish up as part 2. Okay? Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for pushing the like button, and thank you for coming back to listen to me read the rest. Okay? So until then, have the most benevolent day.